Lemonada.
I'm Gretchen Rubin, and this is A Little Happier. I love the work of Andy Warhol. Surprisingly, perhaps, I'm not a huge fan of his visual art, but I love his writings, and I love reading interviews he gave. He had a way of looking at the world that's utterly different from anyone else. Sometimes Andy Warhol said something that allows me to understand the world in a different way. For instance, in his book Popism, he reflected on two famous women he knew. Edie Sedgwick and Judy Garland had something in common, a way of getting everyone totally involved in their problems. When you were around them, you forgot you had problems of your own. You got so involved in theirs. They had dramas going right around the clock, and everybody loved to help them through it all. Their problems made them even more attractive. When I read this, I understood better something that had puzzled me for a long time. Why do some people seem to be attracted by someone who is constantly involved in drama, mishaps, conflicts, bad luck, and chaos? Of course, misfortune befalls all of us sometimes, and some people have extraordinarily bad luck, but a few do seem to have a flair for dramatic disasters, and some people do seem to be drawn to that drama. I could never understand why, but Warhol explained it. It may be that when we're preoccupied with helping someone else deal with their problems, we don't have to think about dealing with our own problems. When we're helping someone who's doing worse than we are, we forget about our own situation. When we're thinking about someone else, we forget about ourselves. I love proverbs, and I love proverbs of the professions, and I've learned a proverb from computer programmer culture that I find myself quoting all the time. It's not a bug, it's a feature. This proverb is invoked by software developers when they argue that something that might be seen as a mistake or flaw in their program is actually something useful that it has been purposefully created to do. This turns out to be surprisingly applicable to everyday life. It is astonishing to me how often something that one person describes as a bug can also be claimed as a feature. For instance, years ago, a writer friend who was trying to sublet an office space, part of her pitch was that the office had no phone and no internet service, so it was perfect for a writer who needed to focus. The lack of these services wasn't a bug, it was a feature. Andy Warhol allowed me to understand that the turmoil around Edie Sedgwick and Judy Garland wasn't a bug. It was a feature that made some people more, not less, attracted to them. I'm Gretchen Rubin, and I hope this makes your week a little happier. From the Onward Project.
This message is sponsored by Cologuard. Because of my own health journey, increasing awareness around the importance of colon cancer screening is a mission close to my heart. And one common misconception about screening for colon cancer is that you should start at age 50. But in actuality, if you're at average risk, the recommended age to start screening is 45. And a great use-at-home option to screen for colon cancer is with the Cologuard test. The Cologuard test is a non-invasive, effective, and affordable prescription-based use-at-home colon cancer screening test that looks for both abnormal DNA and blood in your stool. What I really love about the Cologuard test is that it gives the option to screen your way on your time with no need to take time off of work for prep or procedures. Even if you don't have any symptoms, it is so important to test beginning at 45 because many patients with early-stage colon cancer have no symptoms at all and are diagnosed through screening. With zero downtime, no special preparation, and a use-at-home screening test that's delivered right to your door, what more are you waiting for? So if you're 45 or older and at average risk, ask your healthcare provider about screening for colon cancer with the Cologuard test. You can also request a Cologuard prescription today at Cologuard.com/podcast. Do not use the Cologuard test if you've had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease, and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colorectal cancer. False positive and negative results may occur. Any positive result should be followed by a colonoscopy, not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. The Cologuard test is available by prescription only.